Hi, welcome back to Retirement Dream Builders. So I'm Genesis and this is Daniel. So we're here to talk about health and longevity.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to disclose something. I am 66 years old. Oh
Wow.
my
You
gosh.
don't you don't look like 66.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't pay you enough to tell me that. So I'm frequently, I am young in my mind, and most people this age are still young in their heart, but some of them are old in their body. Some of them are old in their mind. I love hanging out with people in their 20s and 30s because in my head, I don't really want to grow up. Some of you can relate to that. But one of the things I did about 20 years ago was to connect with a doctor. And he taught me some things on longevity, health,
Mm-hmm.
and to actually live longer. So today in our health and fitness area, I want to just share what I'm doing. Some people don't care. Some people have said, have you hit the lottery? Because I went to high school with them and I look younger than them. They want to know what's going on. It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair. It's one more reason we shouldn't like you. Right? Those kinds of things happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So, first of all, what my doctor told me, who's a specialist to help people with longevity, fitness, and health and have a better quality of life, is regular blood tests to understand by the evidence, the scientific evidence, how are you doing? And so I go at least twice a year to get a big panel of blood tests to understand how is all these different areas of my body performing. Am I too high, too low? Because it's easy to tweak it when you're basically healthy, right? So I do that not because I'm sick. I do it because I want to prevent issues and I want to stay healthy a long time.
Yeah.
So I go to the doctor all the time to stay healthy. I don't go to the doctor because I'm sick. That's just a little different way to think. Preventative medicine.
Yeah. That's right.
And one of the things he taught me was diet, to get rid of the carbs, the sugars completely out of my diet the best I can, because basically they are destroying your cells, destroying your life, and killing you. So get rid of the soda pop, get rid of the ice cream. Oh, that's hard for me. I really like ice cream too, but
Everybody loves ice cream.
I know. So I still have some, but it's tinier portions and just on fewer occasions.
I see.
But the doctor taught me another thing about my diet. He recommended the paleo diet. There's a lot of evidence that that can really help your blood if you're off somewhere. And so I had a couple of concerns in my health. Most of the men in my family died of a heart attack before they were 60. Like I would go to my uncles and grandfather and great uncles and stuff like that. My father, I think it was 69 or something,
Mm-hmm.
but all died of a heart attack. And I think the issue is, how do you keep your heart healthy? A couple of things to look at is your calcium buildup in your body. If you eat the wrong foods, you can literally like harden your arteries. You get a calcium buildup inside your arteries. And once that happens, it can speed up. It can be a clot, a blood clot, a heart attack, a stroke in your brain, whatever. But you can get a test for that. And so I was working with my doctor. I was working with him for 2 years, and I found out about the test. I said, well, with my history of family, I should at least look at it. And I had the calcium test that measures the calcium in all your arteries and whether you're likely to have anything. And they said I have a 2% chance to die of a stroke or a heart attack. I said, hang on, did you say 2 or 20? No, just 2, just a 2%. I said, that's fantastic. He said, we can't find any hardening of the arteries in your body anywhere. I said, oh my gosh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, one of the ways people can reverse that is by fasting. Nobody wants to fast, but maybe you can fast for 12 hours a day or 18 hours a day. You eat between 3 and 7 or something like that, and you fast the rest of the time. There's different ways to fast. You can Google that on a routine of fasting. It helps control your weight. But the other thing it does is it releases your stem cells. And your stem cells are sent out to repair your body. So by fasting, you are releasing these stem cells to go out and take care of you and protect you and heal things. I started the paleo diet, and one thing the paleo diet does is it can also trigger stem cells, but I get to eat a little more. Good for me.
Yeah.
I love steak. I love great chicken. I like the protein. And one thing I discovered is when I'm eating high protein and low carb, low sugar, I don't ever get hungry. I literally don't get hungry. If it's hunger, it's just a real gentle hunger. I never crave anything. Some people wake up hungry, and I would say they're probably having sugar and carbs in their body, and that's their body. It's a signal to you. If you wake up hungry every day, you're hungry throughout the day, that's a signal you're not eating properly. And I told a family member about the paleo diet, where it's high protein every day. You avoid legumes or beans, those kinds of things that can cause arthritis and other autoimmune illnesses. So I looked at my blood work before, and then I had it tested after. I was doing it for about 2 years. And all my blood work that once was like starting to get too high and a couple of them just over the red line, they came in right in the middle, like I was 18 years old, just perfectly, wonderfully healthy on all these blood tests. I was so excited. I said, oh, that's relieving with my family history. So all the concerns about heart attack and whatnot, they've disappeared completely. I still have almost no buildup in my arteries or veins. But if you do, I want you to know you can reverse it by intermittent fasting and also using the paleo diet. It really works wonderful. And all your health is going to improve. So along with that, I started to look as I turned 40. I felt very old at 40. Actually, I felt old at 30. Like 30.
Really?
Oh my gosh, that's so old. And then I started to, I suddenly turned 40 like the next day, it seemed like. Time went so quickly.
Yeah.
And then I turned 50. I couldn't believe I was 50. I absolutely felt old at 50. And I had some friends take me out partying on my 50th birthday. They were wonderful people. And we just went out and played like young people. It was fantastic. And
that's a great memory.
It was. It was a surprise. I didn't know it was coming. I was in Northern California, in San Francisco, and they took me out on my birthday. So I appreciate it. So if you guys are watching, thank you. I still have fond memories of our time. As I started to age, I started to think about fitness. I hired a trainer, and we'll talk about fitness and health at another time. But the best thing you can do is if you go to the gym is have a trainer, because they make sure you show up.
Yeah.
Without a trainer, I don't know how to use the equipment as well. I fumble. I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of getting a little tired. Why don't I take a little break? And then they can take a look at how perfect everybody's body is all around me. I go, oh my gosh, and I look in the mirror and it's, oh, there's no hope for me. It's easy to get discouraged. But with a trainer, you're there and you realize everybody in that gym is probably looking out to root for you and cheer you on.
That's true.
They want to be a fan. They don't want to beat you up. So it's a safe thing to do. So I was doing those things, and I continued to age, and I developed a thyroid problem. I had a thyroid cancer. I had a thyroid cancer called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's like the best cancer you could ever have because it metastasizes the organ, which means it's taken over. But it never spreads. Oh. And it just shrinks down and just shrivel. And my thyroid is not very good. I don't have a thyroid, basically. It's just something that used to be a thyroid. So I take some thyroid meds, but I also developed a challenge. I had a thing with the heart-lung pathway of blood was narrower than most. When my thyroid left, I started to notice I was getting more tired. I couldn't swim as well. It's like, what's going on? Had a whole bunch of tests, and they had a hard time figuring it out. But what I realized is I was missing two things in my body that my thyroid used to make. And the thyroid medicine didn't cover it. So I found this, and I found that if I take one or two of these, my breathing I just feels like I'm filled with oxygen. I feel healthy again. And so these things are great.
Can you let everybody know?
Yeah, it is Zao Thyroid Support with iodine. It gives you energy, metabolism, and focus. And I can say it gives me oxygen.
That's
I
great.
am a big fan of that. So I take that as a supplement once a day. If I ever eat something and I find I'm allergic to a food, I can feel the tightness of breathing a little bit. I can take one or two of these, and in about 10 minutes, I forget that there was an issue. So it's great. I'm a big fan of these for a reason they don't even promote, and that is that it helps me breathe better. It opens the artery pathways better. A second thing that opens arteries well is this. This is Juvenon, and it's nitric oxide. Now, this is not nitric oxide, and it's really specific to the thyroid problem, but this is. So this also helps. And I take this once a day also. And it's just preventative, not because I have a problem, but I don't want to have a problem no matter what happens during the day.
Yeah.
So it's just preventative medicine. So I went on with the doctor, learning how to diet, learning how to exercise, and how to, basically reverse the clock.
Yeah.
And I said, boy, that's so wonderful. And then he had me on a variety of vitamins, and I had me on a bunch. But I found out as some research that this vitamin, it doesn't matter if you're 65 or a woman or a man. There's a marketing angle on all of them, but they're all really similar. So vitamin's a vitamin. The question is, can your body digest it? And this brand, One a Day, is digested by the human body better than any other vitamins found in the United States. So I love the One a Day. I happen to take this 65 plus because I guess I'm over 65. We'll just cover that up. One a day. Be as young as you want. There we go. All right. But I actually take two a day, not one. So I started to learn more about aging and the cause of aging, and I found something online by Dr. David Sinclair. And you can Google Dr. David Sinclair. He's one of the world's leading medical specialists on reversing and stopping aging. Pretty good subject, right? So that's kind of where we are today. What Dr. David Sinclair discovered with the scientific research he was doing is that there's a molecule in your body that is made naturally, but as you age, it declines. And that molecule is called NMN. This is tested to be proven that it's around 99% pure, whatever. It's very pure. It's very good quality. Not all of them that say NMN are made the same. I noticed something interesting that when I started taking this along with another supplement, they kind of work together called Reversitol. Who wants to reverse their age? These two things, I noticed feeling healthier, I don't know, maybe about an hour after I took them. I'm like, this is not a feeling I felt for a while. I didn't notice that it had gone. I'm feeling old. But what it does is it helps all of your cells be healthy, and it fixes the inside of every cell. And I won't get too scientific on you, but look up Dr. David Sinclair. He recommends these. He takes them daily. And if you look at his age, he looks like he's 25 years old. And he's the nation's leading doctor, and he's not 25 years old. I want to say he's 50. So he looks fantastic. So I started taking these. These are directly related to reversing age. They diminish cellular aging. They enhance your metabolic health of every single cell in your body. They help remove the toxins and the waste. And so when your body replaces these cells, and your body does that constantly, by the way, and when they replace the cells, they replace it with the young cell you were when you were young instead of an old cell that you are today. That makes sense? So by taking these, the new cells that are created are the young kind. And you start to feel better all the time. It boosts your energy levels, and it fortifies the whole biological process of your body. If you do not have NMN in your body, and the longer you age, the more that declines. And what a simple way to fix that is take a supplement. I noticed physical improvement, but more than that, I noticed improvements on my blood work, my fitness, my ability to run and exercise. Everything improved. It was just fantastic. And so I kept looking at that, and I saw so many other studies. And one study had to do about extending life specifically. These are focused on metabolic health, boosting your energy levels, and diminishing cellular aging. They're not promising to reverse, although I'll just tell you personal experience, they do, because I'm 66 and it's made me younger. But then there's a newer research that came out that was performing better than anything. So as I continued to study the meds or the reason we age, um, first I go back to my original longevity doctor. He taught me this: aging is an illness we should fight. You were not created to age and die, right? You were created to age and have a long, prosperous life. So aging has gotten worse in some countries, better in others.
Yeah.
Good healthcare prevention, eating the right foods, all that's so important. On one hand, I love aging. I love my age because I'm so much smarter. I don't do all the stupid mistakes. I'm not embarrassed in social settings like I once was. Whenever you're young and you do stupid things, you just sometimes they can just role play in your head. You got to let go of those things. But as you get older, you're smarter. You have so much wisdom because you've done so many things wrong. I love that. I'm so much smarter. But with longevity, that has to do with our health. And people don't know what to do to fix the cells in their body, right? So if you have some health issues, these kinds of things will help you prevent those health issues from getting worse, right? There are things you can do. If you wait till you're almost dead, we may not be able to help you. But if you are proactive, I would just recommend it. We have no financial interest in any of these companies. The channel has no financial benefit talking about these products. I'm just talking about it because I'm a huge fan. I talk about it because you can look at me, and if you say he can't not be 66, I say, yes, I am. And this is why and how I'm 66 and I'm so active. I walk all the time. I love the gym, love working out. So many things other people my age cannot. I just can't believe I'm old enough to say those things. But it is true. And part of it is prevention. It's all about prevention. Now, there is this other study called, and I'm trying to get the correct name. I'm sneaking down to look at my phone so you won't notice me because I want to get the name correct. Okay, it's called urolithium. Urolithium. And it is one of, if not the most studied molecule in your body. Of all the compounds that people have looked at to study, to boost longevity, to reverse aging, to heal your organs, to refresh your brain, to take away illnesses you may have even been born with, but it's not necessarily forcing your DNA that way, right? So as we age, I have a wonderful friend who's in her 20s and she is already suffering from heart issues. And this is making a difference in her body. And what it does is it cleans all the waste out of your cells and it starts to replace on the DNA level of your cells, the things that have gone bad or gone aged. So if you get an aging cell, it reproduces another aging cell. If you have a diseased cell, it's going to replace another diseased cell. So what these does, this is Timeline. This is the one I take. And again, David Sinclair would recommend all three. But this molecule, it's like it's doing a car wash on the inside of every cell in your entire body. Cleans out all the junk, cleans out all the bad. And then that molecule helps your body, your DNA, to replace that cell with a young cell instead of the old cell that you are today. So you literally can reverse aging. And there's so many people today taking NMN, taking resveratrol, taking urolithium. There are so many things out there that are helping us understand how to live longer. It's a very good chance a lot of people are going to start to live to be 500 years old. Honest. I know you may not be aware of it, but you can. I have a lot of friends here in the Philippines. They tell me 40 is old. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was still learning how everything worked when I was 40. So it is not old. You can have a very long life. After COVID, I messed up on my diet. I was no longer doing paleo diet. And even though I enjoy cooking on occasion, if there's a good reason, during COVID, we couldn't go anywhere. So it's like,
It's really hard.
Let's eat. Let's eat too much.
Everybody during COVID do that.
Yeah, it was terrible. But So I ended up gaining weight, and I had this little chipmunk face. I still have to get rid of it. And I noticed that my blood work wasn't as good, and I noticed I started to have something because I was taking meds for different things plus my supplement. These are just supplements, but I started to have a issue that was showing my kidneys just one notch below
Really?
perfect, or maybe it was too high. Yeah, I think it was too high, one notch above. Maybe I'm dehydrated. Maybe I have the beginning of a kidney problem. That was scary.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to research everything I could find. What's wrong? What's wrong? How could this happen? No,
Yeah.
but there's no history in my family. And I discovered a couple of things. One, I was on a cholesterol blocking medicine, and I was at a higher dose. And I was on that for a long time.
Oh.
And that can actually cause some kidney damage over time.
Yeah,
You
it
go,
is.
well, okay. So I stopped taking that. My cholesterol's just fine because I eat the paleo diet and I don't have cholesterol issues. Then it improved, but it didn't get into the green zone yet. So I kept looking. And because of my family's history with heart disease, I take an aspirin a day. I've been doing that for forever. Well, guess what? An aspirin a day can harm your kidneys.
Really?
And so they would recommend to never take a whole aspirin. If you don't have baby aspirin, thin your blood, whatever, take only a half of the aspirin. So I cut out the aspirin, and I got just a little bit better, but it was still below the line.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what else to do. I was out of everything I could find. We're studying longevity, studying helping kidneys, and learned a lot that I couldn't really take advantage of. And then I found this. This is MetaPure. The brand is called Timeline, but it is a MetaPure supplement, which is a brand name for your lithium A. All right. And this compound, this molecule has been studied more than almost anything else in the world, specifically for reversing aging. Now, that's pretty amazing. You can reverse aging. And so it removes all the waste. It cleans the inside of your cells. It restores the mitochondria. It restores the parts of a cell that make it alive and healthy and vibrant like you were when you were young. And when you DNA is triggered to replace that cell by duplication, it no longer is going to duplicate an aged sick cell. It's going to duplicate the original DNA version of that cell. That's how it reverses the aging. I didn't know any of that. I was shocked. And so I noticed after about a day, I started to feel better on this one, just like that. So I was taking these, and all of a sudden I added this, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I feel better. I was going to the gym again, and instantly I felt better from that also. And I needed to get a blood test. I'm like, oh, I was just ready to pray. Please help this blood test come in good. I want to see it good.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a great workout at the gym, and I went in, and it said that my kidneys have gone to a stage 4 kidney failure. What? Instead of improving, it got worse. I said, that can't be. And then I said, I wonder if my workout, because I went from a 2-3 hour workout directly to get my blood taken. I was still sweaty.
Yeah.
And when you go to the gym, it can give you a false kidney reading. You need a more advanced kidney test to know for sure. I said, oh my gosh, it's measured wrong. So I waited about 30 days and just did everything normal. And I avoided the gym before I went into that test. And it came back and said, I'm about 18 years old. No problems at all. Kidneys have been healed. And I credit these 3 in particular, as well as my vitamins, keeping your artery, the blood flowing, and then my thyroid. So, but these 3 in particular, I would recommend for everybody who has some health issues. But you do have to avoid sugar on your own. It can't fix that. You do have to avoid eating all the carbs and the breads and all the stuff that's really good. You got to avoid things that convert to sugar because it will kill you, right? But if you can cut those back, like a paleo diet, you'd be surprised how much you're never hungry. And that's the biggest thing I hear is, oh, I could never do that. I'm going to be so hungry. My sister told me, can't do that. I'd be way too hungry. About 10, 15 years passed, and then she writes me and says, text, have you ever looked into this diet? It's called the paleo diet. I mean, all the things that she rejected hearing from me for, 15 years. Now all of a sudden she's trying to tell me all about it like I don't know. I said, that's awesome. and she's no longer hungry, and she looks good, and her husband. So
Wow.
reverse aging, I credit this in particular for reversing my stage 1 kidney problem I couldn't get rid of to good as new. All right. And don't get their blood test just after you leave the gym. That's a big
Don't.
lesson. I was terrified when I saw that. I said, no, that, and I look up and said, how long do you live if you have stage 4? It's like, 6 months. What? No
That's,
way.
That's scary.
Yeah, very scary. Because I didn't go to the doctor. I was just, real men don't need doctors. We can solve it ourselves. We never run out of gas, and we don't need directions either. Anyway, they're all false. Anyway, so now, after my third blood test, it continually shows everything's perfectly healthy. I'm like an 18-year-old, and everything's working great. And so I just want to share with you, if you're struggling with your health and like you need to do something fun before you're too old, health, fitness, do preventative medicine. Don't react after it's too late. And this is one of the best preventative medicine lists I can show you. So Jen, one more time. NMN.
NMN.
Yep. And this is sold by Virtuvin, and you can check them out. There are cheaper versions. I just know that this is tested to be the most pure. So if you find a cheaper version, understand you might need to take a little more if they're not as pure. And they're like, what else are they filled with? I don't know. Just thought I'd mention. Cheaper may not be good for you. So NMN. Reversatol, again, reverse the aging process and help your cells. These are all working on the cellular level. And then Eulithian A. I buy the Timeline version. Again, I have no connection to any of these companies, although if you're listening, we'd love that you would support our channel, because we're a new channel and we love your stuff. All right. So then vitamins, I would say 1 a day is best. The age, men, women, or age, I don't know that really matters. It might matter a little bit, tiny here and there, but for the most part, 1 a day vitamins. If you are not feeling quite yourself, you're aging, you don't quite have energy, if your blood doesn't reach your cells properly, you're going to still suffer. So this just a really affordable nitric oxide supplement boosts your blood flow, helps me with my lung issue. I don't always need this anymore, but this specifically was because of my thyroid issue. And so I take them to prevent issues, not because I'm sick, but this fights aging, reverses aging, helps me to stay young. So,
Wow.
yeah. You got any questions for me?
I don't have, because it's very informative, and I feel like everybody would love these products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got to find something you can afford. And if you find that these are expensive in your budget, then at least get the cheaper version somewhere, but try to see if there's any tests. Yeah.
Yeah. I do have one question,
Yeah.
though, Dan. So I'm from Philippines,
Yep.
and are all these products can be bought worldwide?
They cannot always be bought worldwide. The
Mhm.
Philippines have strict medical rules. Now, if you're from outside the country
Yeah.
and coming to the Philippines, if you have a letter from your doctor of all the meds you're currently taking, then you can ship them into the Philippines,
I see.
which I made sure to get. I have that letter. So, but it may be a different brand,
Yeah.
but they are available because, again, this is your lithium A supplement. And then this is NMN, and this reversatol, and I forgot the technical name for that. But your body has these, right? And when you're aging, they decline.
Yeah.
So you can find them. They're just probably going to be a different brand, and I don't know about the quality that's there. But if you're in the U.S., I highly recommend those because I know what they've done for me.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you feel like this has been beneficial, and let's extend our lives. Let's make our retirement the best chapter of our life. In fact, let's make it the beginning of the second half of our life, right? Let's have a great life, and it starts by being healthy and preventing illness instead of reacting to illness, all right?
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. If you thought this was helpful, would you consider liking that? We are a new channel. We need your help.
We are.
Yeah. So like the channel, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to. We're going to put this information of what all these products are down below, and you can see them and you can contact them. And I'll try to do a little research to see if cheaper versions. I'm not recommending them. I've not tried those cheaper versions. I just want to help you any way I can. My personal experience, I am not a doctor. You need to see your doctor. I'm just communicating my story. But if you like, subscribe, leave a comment, ask a question. That really helps the algorithms. That boosts us up in when people are searching in YouTube. So we need your help. So do whatever you can. Really appreciate it. And thanks again. If you have special desires you'd like to have us cover for retirement, whether it's your finances, we'll contact the smartest people we know to answer your question. How about retirement accounts? What about after retirement? How do you spend your money after retirement? It's completely different. You don't want to run out. What about your dreams, your bucket list? Yeah. What about your health, your fitness? What about your lifestyle?
Lifestyle, yeah.
What about where's the place where you can have a hub where you can fly really cheap from that one location instead of be somewhere else where it's really expensive to fly? All kinds of secrets we want to give you. But if there's something important to you, let us know in the comments, and we'll do some research and we'll deliver that for you. Okay? Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day, evening, and we'll see you next time.